Hello everyone, welcome back to my vlog. Today, the topic that we are going to take forward is the documentations. In the last session, I have explained you what are the requirements, which is one of the main phases of SDLC. Be it you are following waterfall model or it's agile, requirements is the main key area. So because the requirements is the main key area in a project, so when you are understanding the requirements, be it what you want as a stakeholder or what you are supposed to deliver as a development team, they should be well documented so that every team is uh, aligned to the same kind of requirements. There is no conflict of thoughts. There is no confusion among the teams that this was supposed to be done or that is supposed to be done. Everybody is well connected and they are on the same page that they are supposed to deliver something which is documented well enough in a proper way. So, this is a very crucial part, and it's majorly handled by business analyst or a product owner in the organizations. So, first we have the business requirements document. This is initial phase of your project when you are analyzing that you want to get something done. It is basically documented at that time, so it captures the requirements and the way that you have to provide a solution to the client. So all the requirements, as and when the client is saying that we want to do this thing, okay, we want a login. So you will just write down everything and what kind of solution you can provide to the client. And it has the requirements and the solutioning from the layman perspective. Layman perspective means if you are a non-technical person or you are not somebody who is not related to this line, if that person is going to take a look at this document, then it would be very easy for anybody to understand that there is something, that what is required by the business. And here the main thing is that it provides a very high level requirements. You are not drilling down to the base level to understand. It's just that you say that yes, we want logins. Now what is behind the logins? What kind of logins can be that? For example, if you're making some application for your organization, so is it that the employee login is there, then you have the client sitting at your office? Do you want the client logins also, or you want it to be on internet so that anybody across the globe can have a login? So that is not defined well enough, but we have the high level requirements that are basically that's focused on. So here the main thing is there is no technicality in this. It's very basic language, normal English, which anybody can understand, anybody with the non technical background. It explains what a system should do and why part of the system, that why are you doing this, why are you wanting this to be done. So it explains exactly what is required and why is it required. So if I give you an example, for example, if somebody says that they want, there is a stakeholder who comes and says that they want an online banking platform. So, online banking platform is like, in a layman perspective, if I say, it would be something like a application which is used by any of the banking sector organization. You can take an example of any bank like SDFC, ICICI, and so on. So something like that they want to develop. So what kind of requirements the business will speak, that will come in the business requirements document. It would be like that customer should be able to register, means anybody who is trying to be on that portal, they should be able to register, because that is related to the finances, so registration is very important. Then registered, anybody who is already registered, that person should be able to log in. There shouldn't be any challenge in the login. Even if you're forgetting your password, we should have all the measures so that that thing can be recovered and somebody is able to log in. Then you should be able to do online transactions because it's a banking sector application, so online transactions should be done. You should be allowed to have online FDs that you can make out of your money. And for example, you add extra benefits to the clients, like you want that they can do online recharge using their online accounts. And like if somebody is a gold customer or platinum, silver, all these kind of customers which banks hold, so what are the rights they have? Based on that, they should have different access permissions. So this is kind of requirements, that why are you wanting it and what you are wanting it. So that comes from business. This, the person who is actually talking here in context to the requirements is the business or the stakeholders, and the person who is supposed to actually prepare this document, that is the business analyst, or you can say it can be the product owner in agile. Then we have the functional specification document. Functional specification document is, in another words, in agile we do call it as a, technical specification document as well. So it's completely technical document, which anybody who is, if somebody is not from a technical background, will not be able to understand it in a proper way. And here the information which is there is very complete, in the sense that how are you going to make the system. So um, it's very cleanly written, so that everybody who is in the development team is able to understand their work properly. This also is made by business analyst, but here we do have the technical team members also, because they are the people who are actually going to handle the solution. So they are supposed to give their thought process in this thing, and they and their thought process matters, because technical documents, they are the people who are going to use it going forward. So they sit along with the business analyst and they prepare that what all we should add up in this document. So it describes how a system is going to function. So, as in, what the requirements the customer has given, how is it going to be implemented, or how we are going to actually see it working. So this document gives you how of a requirements or a project. So focus is on the capabilities, appearance, and the interaction with the end users and other connected systems, like how it will look like, what is the look and feel, is it user friendly in context to the interaction with the end users, and how it would be connected with the other systems, as in other payment. Other systems can be like, for example, you are making any like we are talking about online banking platform, if somebody is making. So for the functional requirements, the other connected systems would be the other payment gateways that we can have Google Pay, Paytm, or anything which is like you are supposed to do any transactions with your money. So we that is the kind of information that is there in the functional document. And for example, if I give you an example of this kind of document, it can be like, if a user is able to log register, so what kind of username should be there, like it should be numeric, or it should be string, or it should have integers in it. What is it? You define everything here, because the customer has told you that you user should be able to register. Now how is he able to register? That is the headache that is taken by the technical team members. So they decide here. And what is the kind of password, what should be the length of password, what should be allowed in the password, like alphanumeric, numeric characters, special characters are allowed or not. So, and like if somebody is doing transactions, what is the limit on the transactions? Customer is just saying you that we want transactions should be allowed. Now how are you going to allow? It's not that somebody is going to transact millions of dollars or any currency in a day. No, there is always a limit to it. So all these things, all these kind of requirements, or all these uh, how related things for a software, they are dealt in this functional specification document. And for the projects which are not very big projects, but like I would say like agile and others, we basically use this kind of documentation because it's not very lengthy but it's very helpful. And based on this only the teams work. And business analyst and team members, they have a collective effort on this kind of documentation. Then we have the software requirement specification document. As we see, out of all the three requirements, the name is big, as is the requirement, as is the documentation. It's a lengthy documentation. Usually we use it in the projects which are like waterfall model, because it is very lengthy, because it consists of functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and use cases. Everything is there. So but it's very important for the development team, for the testing team, every team. It's very important. This is as well made by the product owner or the business analyst and the team members who are involved, who are supposed to develop, who are supposed to test. Everybody is part of this. So here we describe the behavior of the system, as in how the system will behave. If you are going to click register, what is the scenario the system can behave in a good way or in the horrible way that it can. If thousands of people are logging at one time, how will it behave? Will it just hang, or we are able to handle it? So that is the non-functional requirements. And the functional requirements, as in that we are supposed to have a login, we are supposed to have the registration, um, and the transfer of money in the accounts on the FD creations and all that. So that are the functional requirements. Non-functional are, we need to make sure that security is well met. If you are because it's money dealing application, so you need to be very cautious about the non-functional requirements here. And secondly, it should be very easy to understand by the user, because somebody is actually putting in the money. And if it's complicated also, the people get confused, and they, there is little uneasiness in them, that they really want to go ahead with that application or not. So it should be very user friendly. And we here define the use cases as well. Use cases, as in if a user will click on register, what is the possibility he can have? If he will once he will log in, what are the possibilities he can have? If somebody is a silver customer of the bank, what all access rights he will see? If somebody is a platinum user, then his privileges for that application would be far more than somebody who is having a silver, who is a silver customer of that bank. So that is the kind of software requirement specification document. And these kind of documents, to be very clear in context to the industry standards, are used in very lengthy projects, maybe in the waterfall models. But usually the companies, they prefer to use a technical specification document, or the FRD, functional requirement specification document, which is not that lengthy as this SRS. Okay, so now we'll talk about the differences between BRD, FRD, and the SRS. So BRD, what it includes? It includes high level. As I told you, that high level requirements are there. You are not drilling down to the base level. And these high level are also the requirements which can be easily understood by any layman, as in anybody who is not in working in the organization. If he also reads the requirements, he can understand that what is required. And FRD, it's the requirements are technical, and these cannot be understand this can only be understood by the technical team members. And you define the requirements with the help of flow charts and other diagrammatic images that are used in these kind of documents. Similarly, SRS, we have functional and non-functional requirements, as I have told you, and we have use cases which can be used in the testing of the system. So, what it answers? BRD, it answers why. That why are you planning to have that project or a software? Why are you planning to build something? So, that is the main focus of the BRD. Why? So that you can convince the team that we want this thing, and why do we want this thing. Because if technical team is supposed to work, they should be aware that something fruitful is getting done. So, and FRD is how you are going to do it. How are we implementing the why? Why, as in, why is the requirement, and how are you going to implement the requirement is in the FRD. And SRS, it's what to be fulfilled. What are we trying to fulfill? We are trying to fulfill the requirements. That is why we are supposed to see how are we going to do it. We are trying to see that we are meeting all the quality and non-functional every requirements we are able to meet, and we are able to be successful in this project. So we deal with all these things in SRS. Then we have when it is prepared. So BRD, as I told you, it's very in the initial phases when you are actually analyzing that we want a project. That is the time when BRD gets created, and it gets updated off and on. If it's used in agile kind of projects, they keep getting updated. FRD, it's usually in the planning phase, which is with the when planning phase, as in when customer has given the BRD, then everybody's sitting and they are discussing. This is everybody, as in the team members, technical team members, business analysts, scrum master, everybody would be sitting and they are discussing. Based on their discussion, that what why of the project, they are planning how of the project, and that is in the planning phase. So that usually happens in the planning phase. And SRS, it equally is in the planning phase, because all these are in the planning phase because implementation starts after planning. So once you have planned, you say yes, we will do it. After that, you start with the design and the implementation. So everything needs to be completed before you are actually starting to do any kind of implementation, as in designing of the project or coding of the project. Anything can be. So who creates in all of these? Business analyst is a common person in on all these kind of documentations. BRD is made by business analyst only. FRD and SRS, we need technical people also to be part to this. And who uses BRD is usually the stakeholders. Technical team members have nothing to do with the BRD until unless they just need to see it, so that they can make FRD or SRS. It's just the one time see that you see, so that you can actually prepare your further documents based on that. And FRD, business has nothing to do with FRD or with the, I would say, SRS, because these are very technical documents and they will not even understand what is there in these documents. So FRD and SRS, these are the documents which are used by the technical teams and technical development teams and SME project managers. SME, as I've told you, they are the subject matter experts and the people. This is a terminology which is used in the corporate world. So these kind of people are the main users of FRD and SRS. So these are the kind of questions that can be very much asked in the interviews regarding these kind of documentations. And uh, because they are documentation, people get usually confused and they are not able to understand. So you start learning more about it once you start working in a project in any organization. And if you are a product owner, you know that we are supposed to do what all, and if you are part of technical team, you understand what you are supposed to do. So this is very thin line of difference, but very that difference matters a lot. This is the difference between these. We do have some more documentations that we have in the projects. We will discuss everything more that we have in the project, and how to make it a success, and how it's going through the phases, with the more practical examples in the coming sessions. Thank you so much for watching.